Time is confusing. I'm in Dublin recording this, but I'm in Abu Dhabi when it comes out. Hello, I'm Emmett Ryan, and welcome to Ball in Europe. And if you're watching this, congratulations. You're watching the last video we recorded before I got on that plane and got to where I am right now, or I should be watching this, Abu Dhabi, of course, for the Euroleague Final Four. Well, I've decided to break down the key storylines as we enter the Final Four, as the games, of course, tip off on Friday, and the season's going to be over on Sunday. It's like nearly all done. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. There are some big storylines to watch out for, and I'm going to take you through them, and we're going to have a chat. And hopefully you've been following our content here on the main website, ballineurope.com, and everywhere else. If you haven't, please do. It does help. If you haven't already as well, please subscribe. That's a huge plus. Like, comment, share. All the things YouTube wants you to do, ringing bells and things. Just do that. It'd be great. And now let's get to it. Simple, easy, straightforward. Panathinaikos have won 7 EuroLeague titles. They have never won back-to-back championships. Of course, last year's title came just a season after they had finished 17th of 18 teams in EuroLeague. Their huge reordering of the roster, the arrival of Ergin Ataman, and the return, it appears, of the glory days to the green side of Greece. I know. If I say Athens, it gets me in trouble. But to the greens, the glory days are back, right? Well, now we're talking quite simple. They've never managed to defend the title. When I hear about title defenses, I always get a little annoyed at Chus Mateo being incredibly pedantic last season, saying, "We're not defending anything. That title is already ours. We are going out now to win another one." Yeah, but buddy, if you're the defending champions, you're in the Final Four. You're the target. It's on your back. That's what Panathinaikos know going into this. They're the champs. The target's in their back. Can they retain the title? And that is the big question. So quite straightforward. Back to back will be a big one. And of course, remember, it's not like three-peats are common in Europe, putting it mildly. That's what the question becomes immediately in the offseason. Is a three-peat on the line? They are extremely rare, putting it mildly. Check the history and you'll see what I mean. Like Ask Riga, Jugoplastica. After that, it gets kind of not really common. So yeah, it's a huge one. It's simple. Back-to-backs aren't that common to begin with. Obviously, FS did it. Olympiacos did it before them. And you got to go back a while before that again. So, to Maccabi. And so, yeah, it's not the commonest thing in the world to do back-to-backs in EuroLeague. Panathinaikos, this is your chance. 4 straight Final Fours. That's what it is now for Olympiacos. One final defeat, sandwiched, of course, by semi-final defeats. I don't know why I did that. Either side. And now they are going in as, of course, the #1 overall seed, best finish in the regular season. They dispatched Real Madrid 3-1 in the playoffs. Of course, a team responsible for a lot of their pain along the way in Final Fours past. So it's a pretty straightforward story. It's welcome to the situation. You got to deal with this. How are you going to deal with it? You load it up like Olympiacos. And I said this before. Aris Barca said it a couple of weeks ago on our EuroLeague Sweet 16 podcast. Olympiacos decided this offseason they were going to win EuroLeague. The players were brought in. The best known, of course, being Fournier. They have ramped up everywhere. Sabin Lee came in season. They have just gone to every possible length they can to boost this roster to a point where there's really not much more they could have done roster boosting wise to put them in a position to win the EuroLeague title this season. And it's a huge ask because there's a lot of pressure on the Reds going into Abu Dhabi. Because for them, above all the other teams, I think failure here would hurt the most. And that's a lot to carry. Now, you do have some very chill, very organized dudes there. It's an extraordinary roster. We've been over that before, including in articles and another video on this channel. So there's a lot to like here. There's a lot to work with here. But that's a huge amount of pressure. Which brings us on to our next tale. So we've already done a full video about this, so I won't stay on this too long, but it is a key storyline. Our semi-final between Vasilis Spanoulis and Monaco and Olympiacos. Unless if you're a EuroLeague fan, you know why this matters. Spanoulis, if you're not, I'm going to tell you. Spanoulis was, for a very long time, the legend of Olympiacos. Won 2 championships with them in the EuroLeague, other titles in Greece, of course, as well, and Intercontinental Cup as well, I recall. He was sort of the guy, the leader, everything with them. And of course, then he had to retire from playing because, that's what happens to you when you get on in your career. You eventually retire. And he's gone into the coaching ranks. His first stop was Peristeri, where he had a very successful season, getting them to the Basketball Champions League Final Four. He's, of course, gone to Monaco now, and there is an assumption he will eventually be the Olympiacos coach. But right now, he is the roadblock facing Olympiacos. He is the first thing between them and winning the championship this year. So that's a huge, huge ask for the Reds, obviously, putting a lot of pressure on them, putting a lot of heat in them. And that's going to be just an emotional day, an emotional bit of basketball. And it's going to be great. So now we get to storyline 4, which also was sort of loosely related to a point we made in yesterday's video. The new frontier for Euroleague, of course, first time ever in Abu Dhabi, and it's going to be there, we expect, 2 more times in the next 5 years by the way people are talking. And Abu Dhabi is spending quite a lot to have it there, so Euroleague is depending on getting all this money. But of course, it doesn't want it to stop with this. Like, we've seen the Dubai BC team that's been created. We expect to see them in some European competition this coming season. One would assume Euro Cup, given the way things are looking. So there's that obvious step. And it's like Euroleague obviously looking at other ways they can find forms of regeneration. Fundamentally, like, has Abu Dhabi worked? Does it work? And because it is a money grab. Let's not dance around that. But like, not all money grabs are actually effective. So the question is, will this be an effective money grab? Effectively effective. Who knows? But that's the big question. Like, basically, can Euroleague do more than just get a paycheck, as in get a way to get more paychecks later on than the ones that are already guaranteed from other places, and generate more interest and effectively overall grow the product, but more importantly, not cause any detriment to the product elsewhere in its existing core markets? So that's a big storyline. It may be a bit more businessy and focused than most of the stuff we're talking about, but it's a key one to bear in mind. Like, this is easily the most controversial decision in terms of Final Four host ever. But the fans have bought the tickets. People are going there. Now the question is, quite simply, will it work? And being full and having the confetti coming down isn't enough. It has to be shown that it can be built off into more than what it is now. That is the question. And that leads us back to basketball, really, with our final key storyline. Legacies in Euroleague are made at the Final Four. It's that simple, really. Like, Spanoulis wouldn't be who we talk of the same way if Final Fours weren't around. Like, you have those moments, you're able to step in and you shine in the brightest possible stage in the sport in this continent. And this is a place where legacies can and will be made. Like the question with Sarunas Jasikovic as a head coach, will he get his first championship in Euroleague as a coach? Can Ergin Ataman do a second back-to-back? And that will be 4 titles in 5 seasons for Ergin Ataman, which would be freaking extraordinary. Just to be clear, there's that. Bart Zokas bookending, in some respects, his 2 tenures at Olympiacos. He's not going anywhere, but, he obviously started off with a Euroleague title, but adding a second, that's huge. And we're just about the coaches here, And then there's Spanoulis, obviously, who's not got too much at stake legacy-wise here. He's, very early in his career. But then, can Mike James, though, get that championship? Can Vezenkov, who still hasn't got one? There's so many players and coaches here for whom there's a lot on the line here when it comes to, their legacy in the sport here. Like, Nigel Hayes-Davis is brilliant. Nigel Hayes-Davis will be remembered forever in Istanbul if he brings a championship to Fenerbahce. Likewise, Wade Baldwin and quite a few others. So there's a lot of legacy stuff here. Essentially, someone is going to make the best of their legacy at this Final Four. Several people are going to miss the opportunity. And that's kind of one of the reasons we all love it. Because even though a series format all the way through would probably be more equitable, fairer, in line with basketball globally, we like this more. It's more fun. We just do, okay? It's really exciting. And it brings us all together in a different way. So yeah, those are the key talking points in Abu Dhabi ahead of the Euroleague Final Four. Do you agree with me? Do you think I missed something? Tell me in the comments. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, Check out all of our other content. We've had so much up already. So much more is on the way. And this is just surging through all the way through, of course, to when the champions are crowned on Sunday night and afterwards in the post game. So keep an eye on here. Obviously, I'll be going live with Moshe Barda and I believe Aris Barkas as well later this weekend. Thanks to Aris from Eurohoops and, of course, Moshe from One and a few other places in his previous lives. Yeah, it's going to be great. Listen, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in Abu Dhabi. I've recorded 3 videos essentially back to back here. So this has been a fun afternoon for me in Dublin, getting all this done before I go. But listen, I'm looking forward to it. And I really do mean it when I say I will see you soon.